Good morning. Good morning. Just gonna give some time to people to join. So I'll be over here doing my prep. Never mind me. Good morning. Welcome. Welcome. Good morning, everybody. Let's just give a few minutes and then we can get going. I'm excited. I'm excited to be spending time with you this morning again. Morning. 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 How are you guys? Hi, good morning. Sawubona. Happy Sunday. Yes. Oh, what a gift it is to wake up, hey? It's such a gift. Um, yeah, so let's give the others a few minutes more to join. Good morning. Morning, Tafafato, Andy, Swa, Mantayadi, Swera TV. A blessed morning to you as well. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. I'm just busy with my prep. I'm making a very easy meal today. Sundays don't always have to be about slaving away, right, in the kitchen. Yeah, good morning. Morning, Akiswa. Looking good. Oh, thank you. I do. I'm in my casuals today. Thank you, Andiswa. I'm also looking forward to today's topic. Um, because it's actually one that's very close to my heart. So actually all the topics are close to my heart. So, but I look forward to sharing with you what I have in mind and what I've prepared for today. Morning, Sammy. Good morning. Morning, everybody. All right, so we'll give just a few more minutes. So it's now 2 minutes after 10. We'll start at 10, if that's okay with you. Morning. Yeah, just two more minutes and then we get going. Morning, Patiswa. A beautiful Sunday to you as well. Good morning. Good morning. I also welcome our members, very important members, all our members and all our subscribers. Remember, if you are watching and haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's better that way because sometimes I might post something or go live unannounced. I sometimes do things like that. Thank you, Sammy. Morning, Swazi. Good morning. So yeah, please, if you haven't subscribed, just subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, and invite others to subscribe to the channel. Um, if you're finding it useful or helpful. And my assumption is you do. So thank you so much. All right, one more minute and then we'll get going. The others are just going to have to catch up with us as we go. All right. And as I said, I'm making something very easy today, but something that's just as yummy. And yeah, anyway, when I get started, I'll let you know what's happening on my end. So one more minute. I hope you guys are well. I hope you're well. Um, I hope you're thriving wherever you are and dealing with your challenges head on, because every now and then we have to throw ourselves at them. Uh, Morning from Lesotho. Morning, Pakwan. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope my people from Tanzania are joining today as well, as they usually join. I'm coming through, I'm coming through. Morning, Bumi, morning. I'm coming to Tanzania. It's going to be fun. I look forward to it. All right, let's get going. So, thank you so much for tuning in. It's our eighth mentorship session. Can you believe it? Time flies by so quickly. And today, I'll see how long I can stay. Because my son is not feeling well. So I'm still happy that I could squeeze in some prep time yesterday because I was practically sitting by his side all day yesterday. But I managed to put in some prep time. And he is he's in my eye line, so he's sleeping now. So I'll just keep seeing how he's doing. He went to a school camp and came back was sick. So I also had to take him in for a COVID test this morning because yeah, he's quite ill, but he's getting better from yesterday. So anyway, that's what I'm dealing with right now. But let's get on with the session. Today I'm making a garlic prawn pasta, and I've already done my prep, so it's going to be quite quick so that I get through the topic as quickly as I can. I won't be able to answer questions today, but next week we'll do that, okay? So please hold on to your questions. Also, you can write your questions in the comment box after I've finished this session. Then I'll definitely get to it. So today I'm using red onions. So I've already chopped up my red onions, but in the heated pan is equal amounts of butter and olive oil. So that's really how you base the prawns. So how you make the prawns. And you can choose what kind of butter you use. I used lemon and herb butter today. Other days I use garlic butter. But you can even use plain butter, but equal amounts of butter and olive oil. And then I'm just going to add some finely chopped red onions. So taking that off the heat. So some finely chopped red onions, and we'll let that fry for a minute. And I'm serving my pasta today. It will be the organic penny. I'm using penny. You can use, to be honest, whatever pasta you want. I'm pretty sure there's some rule somewhere that says this kind of pasta goes with that. But in my world, there are no rules, so so we just go with what works. I like but I mean, you want to pair up whatever your main is with a pasta that you can easily eat with that combination. So I already boiled my pasta. So this is the penny I'm using. And I cooked it, I let it boil for about 10 minutes because whilst al dente is a good thing, there are many variations of al dente too. I don't like pasta that sticks to my teeth. So I don't overcook it, so I just let it boil for like 10 minutes and it's just the perfect texture for me. So whilst I'm frying the red onions, I also chopped up some peppers. So red, yellow, the usual robot pepper. So green peppers, red peppers, and some yellow peppers, and I'm going to add that as well and let it fry. So I'll show you all this stuff as per usual. So how are you guys? What's happening in your world? Um, I mean, for me right now, yeah, it's all about just focusing on my son, and then I guess that's probably what I'm going to be doing this week. I have to just clear out my entire calendar and focus on him. And yeah, I mean, at school, if at school when they're sick, the rule is that they no longer have to isolate. But obviously they have to, they stick to the routine, to the regime, masks, sanitizing, social distancing. But I still believe that if a kid is sick, they must stay at home. It doesn't matter what they're sick from. So he could just be he could just be having, a cold. Um, because also the things they were doing at camp were quite hectic. So I expected that he'd come back sick in some shape or form, but he had so much fun. He came back sick, all right. He had actually started getting sick, yeah. When he got home on Friday, when I went to fetch him from school, I could see that he was coming down with something. So yeah, but anyway, that's just part of life, right? So what I'm also going to add to my mix is fresh garlic. Obviously, I said it's garlic prawns, so we're going to have quite a bit of garlic, um, and then I'm going to add a touch of ginger as well because it's how I cook. Just a touch of ginger because it just adds that interest to the dish, and because it's going to be a creamy dish, I like to add just that sharpness of the ginger and the lemon. I'm going to use fresh lemon. Um, Also my prawns, so I use fresh prawns. I think you've seen this before. Um, you can use frozen prawns if that's your preferred option. And I keep my prawns in the shell because all the flavor is in there. So I don't deshell them when I do the pasta. People just eat them nicely because they're nicely cleaned. And I buy mine from that supermarket that starts with a W. I won't mention them, they won't pay me. But yeah, I buy my prawns from there. But you can buy prawns from any fishmonger. But I love knowing what to expect. So just gonna let this fry. I'll show you now what it looks like. Looking good. And I also don't want it to overcook, so I'll show you. This is what it looks like now. Okay. So already looking good. It's already looking good. All right. So the topic for today is a is quite an interesting one because in the middle of our challenges, we somehow still have to find something that we can hang on to and be joyful for. So I'm going to share some pointers and some tips on how you can actually cultivate joy every single day because it actually is possible. So one of the things that people always ask me is how I manage to be so joyful and happy all the time. The truth is that it's not because that there's an absence of challenges. It's just how I approach my life. It's how I look at challenges. It's how I manage to just you know put perspective to everything that happens to me or in my life. So I'm going to share that with you. Let me add some garlic to our beautiful looking mix now. Um, I use crushed garlic. I mean, you can crush your own garlic, but it's the one of those things that I'm not really fussed about. I buy crushed garlic from the supermarket, and I think I'll just add a little more. And remember, with garlic, you have to fry the garlic so that you release the gases, because that's how you get that extreme garlic smell if it hasn't been if the heat hasn't been added to it properly. So you want to give it some good heat so that it releases that gas. Um, and then I'm gonna add I'll just give that a few more minutes. Then I'm gonna add a touch of ginger, and then the spices I'm using today. I'm quite excited because I'm not a traditionalist, so I don't cook the traditional way or the rule-based way. Um, but I think I do cook traditional meals. I'm a traditional cook. So I'm going to use some fine black pepper, some ground black pepper, and then some French tarragon spice, some dried parsley. Um, but okay, yeah, that's dried parsley. And then I also have some fresh parsley from my garden, so I'll add that. And then I also add ground cumin. Um, Cumin adds a really nice nutty taste to the dish. Of course, some smoked paprika and a little extra black pepper, as well as the lemon, as I said, and then we'll cream that nicely. Very quick meal, very quick meal. Literally, this shouldn't even take you 45 minutes to cook. It will take me longer because I'm also talking, but But I'm gonna add a little touch of ginger now. It doesn't have to be a lot, just that you can maybe say a teaspoon of ginger. Um, okay, let me show you. This is where we're at now. Looks good, hey? So what I'm gonna do is just add some paprika. So that's some paprika. Then I'm gonna add some fine black pepper. And I'm gonna add some ground cumin. The dried spices, I'll add them once I've added the prawns. So I'm gonna put this back in the stove, on the stove. That's the right English. Okay, so we just add a little more heat to it. All right. Hi everybody. Hi. You're gonna see when I add the prawns to this. So I'm just gonna give it a little more heat, and then we'll add the prawns. And then once I've added the prawns and I'm almost ready to dish up, I'm gonna add tomatoes as well. So I use a mix of exotic tomatoes. It's nice. My kids call these dino tomatoes. So they love those. And I don't cut them because I want them to absorb some flavor. And nothing like those exotic tomatoes when they're heated up. Oh, beautiful. All right, so almost there. Okay. Then I'm gonna show you. That's how beautiful it now looks. Sorry, there's a bit of a sun thing going here. But this is how it looks. So what I'm gonna do is add the prawns. So add the prawns, and you'll see they'll absorb those spices so beautifully. So I'm gonna put this back on the stove. Okay, so I'll put that back on the stove and just let it cook. And whilst it does that, let me start with our topic. And with prawns, you don't overcook them. Just maybe 3 minutes per side. I'd say, yeah, about 3 minutes per side. Because you don't want to lose all of that goodness of fresh prawns by overcooking them. Then they end up tasting like porridge. We don't want that. All right. Let me just sit myself down. All right. Okay, let me just do that. Okay, so I think whilst I wait for my prawns to cook, let's get going with the topic because as I said, I may not have a lot of time. So I mean, listen. So many people think that having more and more things and more stuff is what's going to make them happy. People just keep buying and buying and buying. Every new car that comes out, they want it. They constantly shopping and buying things that they don't necessarily need because they think that the more they have, the more they'll be happy. But often those feelings are short-lived. Feelings of things are short-lived, and they soon realize that they actually have none of the joy that they're looking for. And I want to differentiate today between happiness and joy, because for me, what I'm talking about is joy, and joy is in my understanding, in my perspective, is more sustainable. It's not dependent on external factors, so it doesn't matter what the weather is today or who said what to you yesterday. It is something that comes deep from within you, and it comes about as a result of multiple different things. And it is joy for me is what I call sustained happiness. So, but happiness is really fleeting in my opinion. Um, you might lose your happiness if your partner doesn't compliment you the way you would like them to. You might lose your happiness if you don't get that reward that you were hoping for at work, that bonus, that increase, or if you don't get the deal that you were hoping for in your business, your happiness might be impacted. So this is why I want to focus on joy today, because I'm all about how we can sustain our joyfulness. So as I do that, I'm also cooking. So let me show you. These are really looking good. You can see the color is changing nicely. So I'm gonna turn them around. They are looking really good. Um, so I'll let them cook. Just turn them around. So yeah, I think that our aim in life is to find meaning. It's to understand why we actually exist. Why are we here? And if you don't spend the time getting an understanding of that, it's going to be very difficult to balance or reconcile who you are and what you're here for. So I think that overall, as a people, as human beings, as spiritual beings, our aim is to really find meaning in our lives. And you won't find meaning in material things. They're nice to have, by the way. We work hard for them, we want them, we desire them, we love them. So I'm not taking anything away from them. I'm just saying that, sometimes people use them thinking that they will fill a void that they have, but it often doesn't happen that way. It is happiness that lasts for a moment. What we must be striving for is joy. And I want to say that you have to make joy your goal in life. You have to make joy a habit. It can be done. You can make it a habit every single day. That is how I remain joyful. It's a habit that I've cultivated over a number of years. As a result, it doesn't matter what's happening around me. I will remain joyful. It doesn't challenges of life don't steal my joy, because I'm very clear about how I separate the challenges from who I am and what I bring to my life. So let me quickly just put this aside for a moment and show you these prawns are now nicely cooked, because I'm still going to keep them on the stove. I'm going to show you now what I'm going to add. So I think you can see nicely. I'm now going to add some of that French tarragon. You see that? Yeah. So I'll add quite a nice chunk of that. I think you know by now that I spend a lot of money on spices. And this is some dried parsley. Even that I don't really hold back. And then I'm going to add some brown black pepper. With prawns, they do tend to be quite salty, so you want to be careful about how much salt you put in them. So I literally just gonna just add a touch of touch of salt. And I think it's always best to rather taste your prawns, your sauce as you cook it. So this is what it's looking like now. And then what I'm going to do is add some onion, some lemon. So I'm going to cut that. Then I'm going to add some freshly squeezed lemon. Okay. That aside. And then I'm going to add some fresh cream. So where are you? Oh, there we go. Add some fresh cream. And also, because I don't want it to be too creamy, the cream has to be light and fluffy. I use pouring cream because I find that it's easier for cooking. So I'm just gonna add that and a half, and then I'll put this back in on the heat, and then I'm gonna actually let it heat up, and then some I'm gonna add some stock to make it nice and light, because you don't want you don't want it to be too barbarish, like too thick. That's not gonna that's not gonna fly. So I'll just let it cook a bit. And also you can, I mean, use stock, you can use water, because stock does tend to be quite salty. So depending on how much salt you've put, you have to be careful about how you reduce it. Okay, then let me just worry about reducing it first. Okay. All right. So yes, you have to make joy a habit, um, and you have to want it. You have to want it. So I want to say, I am what I'm talking about here is joy that is independent of external factors. It's sustained happiness, it's sustained joy that comes from deep inside your soul, um, that cannot be swayed by the weather or the occurrence of today. Doesn't mean you don't concern yourself or worry about those things, but it means that you are quite clear about what it takes for you to be swayed. So I'll start with one. So how do we cultivate joy every day? Um, I think first of all, you have to know what makes you happy. You have to know what brings you joy. What brings you joy? So many people don't know this answer because, we spend so much time giving to others. We spend so much time understanding what others like, what brings them joy, and we spend all our lives trying to make sure that they are joyful. But a lot of people don't know how to answer. You might think it's such a simple answer, but it's actually not for a lot of people. So know what makes you happy. If you don't know, start spending some time understanding what makes you happy. So let's talk about how you can do that. If if you cannot immediately think of what makes you happy, think about a time when you were at your most joyful. So think about a time when you were at your most happy. So I'll use happy interchangeable. And that time could be when you were a child. It could be when you were a child. So think about when you were at your most joyful. And think back to a time when you were your most happy, and list those things. List what was happening that made you happy. Could be when you were younger, it could be when you had a great job, it could be when you were in a certain relationship, it could be when you were in church, whatever those things, whatever made you happy, make a note of it. And I want to say, if you stuck, think about when you were a child. When you were a child, all that matters was what you were doing and what you were enjoying, rather than the result of the outcome. Rather than the result of the outcome. And I think that as adults, we lose joy because we are so focused on the outcome that we completely lose the essence of the journey. So when you are a child, you don't constantly think, oh my gosh, am I going to succeed in what I'm doing? You are just caught up in the doing and in the enjoying whatever it is that you're doing. And in a way, we need to kind of bring back that sense of when you were a child, what made you happy? I mean, even people like myself who came from traumatic childhood, um, there's still things that made you very happy. I was at my happiest when I was in the garden, working through my garden, vegetable garden at school, working in the garden at home. That was my happy place, and it is quite 360 that actually that has been my happy place. It has become my happy place even in my adulthood. So those are not. It's not. I wasn't focused oh my gosh, the carrots must look really good, the potatoes must look really good. I was just so focused on working the land and hoping to see something in the long run. But I just enjoyed the moment. Till today, I enjoy looking after nature. I enjoy looking after things because um, you know, there's a spiritual connection in that. There's a spiritual connection in that. So you have to make joy a habit, yes. And so one, know what makes you happy. Start writing those things down because in all honesty, that is what you need to always go back to when you're stuck. That is what you need to always go back to. I'm gonna show you now what the sauce looks like and then we can carry on uninterrupted. I'm gonna show you. It looks amazing. That looks really good. But what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna add some stock. And not too thick, just a little bit of stock. Just a touch of stock. Then I'm gonna put it back on the heat, but this time I'm gonna lower the heat just to let it cook nicely. Well, the sauce. Then I'm gonna add the pasta. Okay. Just adding a little more water. Okay. Then I'm gonna add, sorry, but I'm gonna add more black pepper, and then the pasta and the tomatoes and fresh parsley. And then when you serve it, you can add whatever cheese you prefer, hard white cheese, parmesan, your choice. Okay, so number two, prioritize your happiness, prioritize your joy. So it's it's not going to happen by itself. It's not going to happen by itself. So don't be so worried about eliminating stress in your life so that you become happy that you end up sucking the joy out of your now. Okay? So prioritize your joy and don't be so worried about eliminating stress in your life that you end up sucking the joy out of the moments that you have. So let me give you an example. You may be worried about laundry and how much laundry you have that's piling up. So you stay up late at night to finish the laundry, to finish the washing, and but what ends up happening is that you end up killing your moment in the vibes that you have in that moment. So we can worry so much about trying to avoid stressful situations tomorrow that we actually end up bringing that stress onto ourselves now. And you are stealing the moment, you're stealing your joy in that moment because you're worried about what you could handle another time. You know, when they say don't sweat the small stuff, it's that kind of a scenario where you draw back you draw back you pull back stress that is in the future just so that you are happier in the future. But all you end up doing is just bringing it to the now, and it steals your now. And what if your now is all you have? What if your now is all you have? So I don't, and this is, my philosophy of life. I don't fit joy into my day. So I don't fit joy into my day. My day fits into my joy. My day fits into my joy. So the things I have to do have to fit into my joy. I don't have to take my joy and squeeze it into things that I'm doing every day. Are you with me? Are you with me? I know it's a bit deep. So let me give you an example. Think about it. People who are devotees of church, people who are so committed to church, you will never hear them say, let's reschedule church because I have something to do or something came up. You'll never hear them say that. Church is church. Everything has to fit around church. And we know those church people. They don't play games. They don't compromise on the church. So that is what I mean. And it will be great if we start looking at our lives in that perspective, where everything we do in the day must fit into our joy. We must not keep trying to find moments and squeeze it in. And if you don't have that moment, then your joy is gone. But think about how devoted church people do it. And I'm just using church as an example. There's many other things. There are people who are so devoted to yoga, to meditation, to anything, that everything has to fit around that schedule. So for me, everything has to fit around my joy. And that's how I maintain a joyful posture, even when things are falling apart. It's because joy is the substance, is the foundation of my life. Everything else is it has to fit into it. So, you know, you must make your joy that church. You must think about it as that church. And everything must fit into your joy, not the other way around. Number three, protect your sacred time. You must protect your sacred time. And you must protect it from everyone. You must protect it from everyone because it is sacred for a reason. It is meant to ground you. It is meant to replenish you. It was meant to give you perspective in terms of what it is that you need to be focusing on. So there has to be time just for yourself and the things that bring you joy. And you have got to protect that time with everything you've got. You protect that with everything you've got. Because if you don't have that solid boundary around that, you're never going to find your joy. You're never going to find your joy. Number four, shut the world out on certain days or couple of hours. You choose. Certain days, certain hours, you shut the world out. Some of you spend lots of money going on vacation with your families. You spend lots of money going on vacation with your families only to spend all the time there working, responding to emails, responding to messages, being on social media. And you know what you miss? You miss the opportunity to connect with the people that matter to you the most because you don't know how to shut the world out. So shut the world out. You really miss precious moments that are right under your nose, and those moments will ignite your joy. Imagine how glorious it is that you notice something that your child suddenly can do well when they've been struggling for such a long time. That is such a precious moment. It's such a joyous moment, but you're going to miss it because you're busy working or you're busy responding to DMs or you are tweeting, whatever it is that you people do. So every tweet, every post, every email, and every message steals your joy. It steals your joy because joy exists in the smallest of things. Joy exists in the smallest of things. The things that bring you joy don't have to cost you a lot of money. Sometimes they actually don't cost money at all. Those are the things that bring you real and deep and lasting joy. So shut the world out on certain days. Pick a day where you say, on this day, I am not going to do it. I am not going to, the world can miss me on this day. Number five. Number five, spend money on experiences and less on things. Spend money on experiences and less on things. It really bothers me how many young people, young women, let me talk about young women. It bothers me how many young women look so snazzy in their branded this and branded bag, this branded shoe, that branded this, and they have never even left the country once. It bothers me, and I don't tell people what to do with their money, but I'm like, your perspective is so limited. So spend money on experiences. Yes, of course. Let's just say you don't want to leave the country. Go outside of your home, outside of your neighborhood. Go explore this beautiful country of ours. We've got everything in South Africa. We've got beach, we've got bush, we've got it all. There's nothing we don't have. Explore, pay money for experiences. Go on a hot air balloon. Go climb Table Mountain. Go Drakensberg. Do whatever. But don't be so obsessed about how you look and be so fixated on people must see me as a successful person by what I wear. You know, it is a bother for me that so many young people spend so much money on things just so that they can be seen to be successful. You are not successful to me if your horizon hasn't been expanded. You are not successful to me if you haven't embraced diversity. And the only way you can embrace diversity is by going out there and chasing it and looking for it. South Africa is a tiny little place in the globe. The rest of the globe belongs to us too. You know, so we don't have to feel like we're just stuck in one place. Go and explore. It's incredible what it does for your perspective. So spend money on experiences and less on things. The things that you buy, the high doesn't last. And honestly, you will post once about it. We've already seen it. Like, it's not like when you post it the second time around, we think you have 10 of the same thing. No, we've already seen it. So just like get over those things already and seek experiences that enrich your soul and open up your mind and expand your horizon. Because when your horizon has expanded, you are a different person. You see life differently. You offer yourself differently. Opportunities will start to land on your lap. And number 6, cultivate good social relationships. Cultivate good social relationships and call upon them when your mood fails. So we all have days when you really feel like your joy is on the bench. So call upon those good social relationships that you have invested in and let them know that I'm not feeling great. You know, one of the things I find really helps a lot when you're not feeling good is to call a good friend and ask them to tell you about their day. And be specific and ask them to tell you about what they're excited about what's happening in their lives that is so exciting. Because it's pointless calling a friend when you are feeling down, but that friend is also having a miserable life. So let's just upfront be clear about what you are trying to achieve. Tell them, I'm not feeling great, but you know what? A great chat with you might lift me up. But better still, please don't go binging, don't go drinking because you're not feeling good and call a friend and say let's hang out. Call that friend and go for a walk in the park. It doesn't cost you money. If you go out and go drinking and want to be seen, you're going to spend money you don't have. In fact, you're going to spend money you'd rather be using for experiences and feel worse afterwards. Not just the hangover, but also the fact that you've spent money that you really maybe shouldn't have spent. So do something like go for a walk in the park, go sit somewhere and just like talk and share what's going on in your life. Go hiking, it doesn't cost you anything. Go, there's so many natural um, the outdoors that we don't have to pay for. Go for a walk in your neighborhood. Go for a walk in the park. Yeah, do something, but cultivate those social relationships, the good ones, because I always say, careful the company you keep. And then when you've cultivated that, you'll be able to call upon them when you need them. Okay, so let's quickly finish cooking. I'm gonna come back now to what we're gonna do more of. So let me show you my sauce. I had turned down the heat so my prawns haven't overcooked. And look how nice and light it is. For me, this is how I like my sauce to be, right? That's how you know it's looking good. Okay, I'll add some more pepper. And I have just tasted this, so I'm gonna add a touch more of salt. Just a touch of salt. Because I also didn't, I seasoned my pasta just with this. There we go. Then I'm gonna add our tomatoes. Okay. These will cook as I add the pasta. So now I'm gonna add our pasta. So I did let it stand for a while, so it's a bit sticky. This is our pasta. How beautiful is that? Okay. It's coming along nicely. It's really, really beautiful. Okay, and I'm gonna put this back on the heat just so for the pasta to get heated up nicely. And then you can work it out how much sauce you want. My family doesn't like a lot of pasta or sauce in the pasta, so for me, this will be it. Um, and what's nice with pasta is that you can warm it up later, have it, again. Um, and I think this is a good amount. See how beautiful that looks? It really looks lovely. It really does. Mm, mm. It tastes so good. It tastes really, really good. And then what I'm gonna do is just a whole lot of fresh pasta. And that's my pasta. That's the meal for the day, guys. That's the meal for the day. Okay, that's the meal for the day. So I hope you got that. That was quite quick to make. Um, and let me just get my papers back. Excuse me. I'm glad to hear you're getting help. Thank you, guys. Thank you. All right. So, number 7, make plans to escape the usual. Make plans to escape the usual. Nothing keeps me powering through the week than the thought of a vacation coming, than the thought of a weekend away, than the thought of an escape. It really makes my days bearable because it's that gift to myself. It's the gift to myself. In fact, I tell myself that I work for vacations because it's the only thing that gives me power to get through whatever the week holds for me. As a result, I don't get swayed by challenges in the day because I know I'm going to reward myself. So if it means I must put in the hard yards, it means, I'm getting tested emotionally, mentally, and otherwise, I'm going to do it because I know that I'm going to reward myself soon. So nothing helps me power through some tough weeks than the thought of an upcoming escape. So make plans to escape. Uh, Make plans to escape your usual, the norm. Because if you don't, things are going to start closing in on you. So perspective is everything. Number 8, sleep. Sleep. Please sleep. It's not cute to say you can't sleep, you don't get sleep. Oh, I only need 4 hours sleep. No, you don't. You don't need 4 hours sleep. Your body needs, it's scientifically proven, at least 8 hours of sleep. So make plans to get good quality sleep. And how do you get good quality sleep? Your habits matter. Your habits leading up to bedtime matter. You have got to watch what you do leading up to bedtime. And this you have to test yourself and see what happens because so many people are on their phones, they're responding to social media messages. Something upsets you or you get bullied or somebody says something that's not nice because you are exposing yourself to the world when it's actually your sacred time. It's your time to go and rest. It's your time to replenish. Guys, I cannot overemphasize the importance of sleep. It's not just good for you mentally or emotionally and spiritually. It's good for your skin. It's good for your physical health. It's good for your well-being. So sleep has to be at the core of everything you do and good quality sleep. So watch your nightly habits. Stay away from drinking alcohol before you sleep. Stay away from drinking coffee before you sleep. Stay away from things that will stimulate you before you sleep because the whole point of sleep is to wind down everything, is to take it down and let it rest, let it sleep. So you are busy stimulating yourself when you're supposed to go to sleep. watch what you are watching on TV before you go to sleep, because it stays in your mind, and that's what then becomes active as you're trying to sleep, and then you can't sleep. Try and not work before you go to bed. Actually have a habit of, I will not touch work after 6 o'clock, whatever your rhythm is, because whatever you are dealing with, it will stay in your mind, and then your head keeps going. I mean, I remember when I was in corporate, I didn't sleep much because my head kept spinning. I had very bad working habits. I had long hours. I had, you name it, I did it. And if I were in that position again, I would do things differently. So your well-being is your problem. Make sure you look after it. You cannot be joyful if your well-being is not taken care of. You cannot be joyful if you don't get sleep. People who don't sleep are always grumpy. You know what happens when you don't sleep well. People are always grumpy. So get good quality sleep. Number 9, bring silence and stillness in your life. Bring silence and stillness in your life. Dedicate time where there is no noise, where it's just quiet, silence, quiet, and listen to your thoughts, listen to your heartbeat, listen to your emotions, and just connect with yourself and allow yourself to breathe. It doesn't have to be half a day, it can just be 15 minutes of your day where you allow yourself some quiet time. There's a lot of noise in our lives. There is a lot of noise in our lives. And I don't know about people who don't have children, but I know that there's noise too there. But when you are raising a family, when you are a partner, when you're a wife, when you are a leader, when you are all these things, all of us have noise in our lives. There's very little quiet time in our lives. So steal the quiet time for yourself. Take it for yourself and say, it doesn't matter what is happening right now. I need my 15 minutes of calm. I call it my 15 minutes of calm. When I explain it to my kids, I'm like, Mama is just going to take off her clothes. So they know if Mama is going to take off her clothes, they must not follow Mama to the bedroom. And I started that when they were very young. When I came back from work, I got out of the car in the garage and I said, hello, hello, hello. I'm going to come back and pay attention to you. Mama just needs to take off Mama just needs to take off the clothes. For me, it was me taking off the world. It's me leaving the world behind and then giving my family the best of what they deserve, which is the best of me. But if I don't do that, then I carry the world straight into my home, which is a sanctuary, which is my haven. And it's so important to find that space for yourself. It's so important to find some quiet moments. It could be early morning. I go on walks in the morning because I just need my space. I need my quiet time. I have so many people demand so much from me, and I give so much to everybody, and I really need that time where it's just me and myself and my thoughts, and just listening to my heartbeat, and understanding where am I, how am I feeling, am I feeling unsettled, am I okay, what do I need to do differently, and I mean, my walks do that for me. Plus, of course, they keep me in great shape, honey. So bring silence and stillness in your life. That's number 9. And I've said this to some people. I said, if you are scared to be by yourself, you really need to do a lot of work to understand why you're scared to be by yourself. Because there are people who cannot be by themselves. Listen, you can even go to a restaurant and have a cup of tea by yourself, a glass of wine by yourself. Whatever rocks your boat, but find space to be alone and to be silent. Because you're never going to hear yourself. You're never going to understand who you are, how you're feeling, what you're thinking, where you are, in fact, if you don't allow yourself that space. And if you're afraid to be by yourself or with yourself, you need to do a whole lot of work understanding why you're afraid. Number 10, mind your own business. Mind your own business. I know how this can be so funny, like it's a joke when I say it, or I'm pretty sure a lot of people say it because they think it's a joke, but it's actually true. Mind your own business. And whilst it's always laughable, it is actually true. Trying to control everything and trying to get yourself into everyone's life, trying to solve the world's problems is not going to make you a joyful person. So mind what is yours and what you can control. Because even in your own life, there are things that you simply cannot control. Be okay with that. Be okay with the fact that you cannot control everything. So mind your own business. Yes? Don't go around inhaling fumes from other people. I mean, those people who want to know what's happening in others' lives. What the Twitter the Twitter people constantly on Twitter wanting to know what's the breaking news. I don't know if you feel good after being on that platform. And I mean, I'm not trashing platforms here, but I'm just saying that you need to mind your own business, because that's you're busy minding other people's business. Who's minding yours? So you are busy wasting all this energy and time, worried about who's doing what now, what celebrity is going through what drama now. How does that help build your life? How does that help build your life? So you can show compassion for people. You can care, but you don't have to go and insert yourself in everything that has nothing to do with you. And you know exactly what I mean. Don't go around chasing news that have nothing to do with you, because that drains you of your energy. Some people are chronically sad and they don't know why. And when I say chronically sad, I'm not talking about people who have clinical depression or who've got a mental illness of any kind. I'm just saying people who just can't find, something to be happy about. Watch your habits, watch what you're consuming every single day. Because if you are all over and all up in other people's business, you are always going to be sad. I used to have a friend who would do that, who was constantly watching the news every single day, every single minute. She was always crying, she was always sad. I'm like, you know, you have to choose what you're gonna worry yourself with, because you can't. What's the point of worrying about things you cannot control? What's the point of letting that take over the joy, the little joy that you've been able to cultivate? So mind your own business. Number 11, reassess your needs. Reassess your needs. We like to hang on to what may have been, to what maybe we wanted at some point in time. And we don't allow ourselves evolution. We don't allow ourselves the space to grow. We don't allow ourselves the space to change our minds and want something else. Because no, that's what I said to people. I said I was like this, so I have to remain like this forever. No, you have to change. So allow yourself the space to reassess your needs. But if you don't have that quiet time, if you don't allow yourself to protect your sacred time, you will never even understand what your needs are. But you have to allow yourself the space to assess your needs, reassess your needs. So maybe what you think you need is no longer what you need. At some point in time, it may have been, but you keep hanging on to it because no, at some point this is what you needed, but you haven't realized that you've long left that building, and now your needs are different. So allow yourself the liberty to change your mind about what may be long-standing needs. Long-standing needs must be re-examined and reassessed to see if they're still relevant to who you are now and who you are trying to become tomorrow. Number 12, dance and sing out loud. Dance and sing out loud. This is something children do very well. This is something children do very well. You've heard me say it. I will not grow up because this is the element of my life that keeps me so youthful and so joyful, because I don't care whether I can dance or can't dance. I don't care whether I can sing or can't sing. I just do it because it gives me such great joy. And imagine, I mean, look at the times when you had your a little one singing, be it your niece, your child. They sing and they dance with such pure spirit, and zero judgment. Adults get caught up in their judgment. They get caught up in, oh no, I have no rhythm. You already judged yourself. Oh no, I can't sing to save my life. But these are all things that you are looking at from a perspective of judgment, because we were given a voice for a reason. We were given our bodies for a reason, and our hips and the ability to move them, honey. So what's the problem? Move them. You'll be amazed how much you release those happy hormones just by dancing and singing out loud. It doesn't have to be for other people, just do it for yourself. The reason I do it and post it, and believe me, I do it more than I post it, is because I want to show people that you can be a successful businesswoman, a mother, a wife, and still be joyful, and still find the things that you find that give you joy. And focus on the fact that it's about bringing you joy, not who says you can or can't. It's like we have to let go and release our happy hormones. We have to let go of the judgment. So hang on to your childlike nature. I really think this is the sweetest spot for joy. It's the sweetest spot for joy. When everything you do is about finding that inner child and feeding that inner child. And I mean, I always say that I didn't have a great childhood, but I'll be damned if as an adult I don't give my inner child a great life and a great childhood. So, we have to reparent ourselves so many times and for many different reasons. Find your inner child and understand what she needs or what he needs and give it to them, because they may not have received it in the period they were meant to receive it, and you are maybe you are blaming your parents for that, or whoever was your caregiver. But remember, now you are the caregiver of your inner child. So what message are you giving that inner child all over again? What message are you giving that inner child all over again? So be so careful about how you look at your life and your perspective. Dance and sing out loud. It makes your inner child happy. 13, choose forgiveness. Choose forgiveness. You have to neutralize the past. You have to reconcile the past. You have to go through the emotions of being okay with the fact that things did not go as well as they were supposed to. The cards you were dealt may not have been the right ones. Perhaps you made really bad decisions. Release yourself from that. Release yourself from the hurt. If you've hurt people, go and fix it. Release yourself from it. Release yourself from the hurt, because if you have not forgiven others and you have not forgiven yourself, there is no way you will be joyful. There is no way you'll be joyful. So choose to live joyfully. It's a choice that you can make every day, because it does not take away from other people that you haven't forgiven them. It eats away at you, and it eats away at your soul. It erodes the very essence of joy. So please deal with hurts, whatever they may be, deal with them, and choose to live joyfully. And I've said it in another instant, and I've said it in my book, Therefore I Rose, and probably Baked in Pain as well. But yeah, I mean, I don't remember. I write books, not to remember what I wrote. So I think that forgiveness. What I've said there in those books is that forgiveness doesn't mean you want to reconcile with those people. It simply means that you are releasing the negative energy that it has a hold on, that it has a hold over you. So forgiveness is really a personal decision. It's the ultimate self-care, ultimate in self-care. Number 14, stop hogging things. Stop hogging things. Declutter. Please declutter. You don't need all these things that you've got. And I'm one of those people. I declutter every 6 months. I give away things. So now I'm on this bandwagon now of I'm gonna clear my closet, and I'm going to do a charity sale. So now I'm no longer going to give away my things for free. I'm going to sell them so that I raise money for the charities that I support. There are charities that I support every year. I support them financially and I support them with my time. And I actually support a lot of people. So I send people to school. I buy shoes for schools, uniform for kids at schools. And these are not things that I do for publicity. If I do something and I'm publicizing it, it's because I'm trying to draw attention to that particular cause. But the things that I do, my charitable work, my humanitarian efforts are often private, and I don't say anything about them. So I need more money to keep helping as many people as I can. I send people to school. I pay bursaries for some kids. I pay, yeah, I do a lot. I do a lot. That has nothing to do with anyone but me and my God. So I decided that I have more than I need. I have more things than I need in a lifetime. And I'm at that life stage of I'm not accumulating anymore. I don't need any more things. I mean, even when people want to send me things, I'm just like, please don't send me anything. I don't need anything. I don't need any more. It's not going to change my life. Another thing is not going to change my life. But those things can actually, that I've accumulated, can actually help somebody else. It can help my humanitarian efforts. So anyway, declutter. Declutter your home. You know, decluttering your home is actually a mental clearance exercise. It's an emotional clearance exercise. You are opening up the good energies. You're opening up and saying, come in, and you're letting go of the old. You don't need you don't need 50% of the things that you have. In fact, you don't need 80% of the things that you have. And some people just simply cannot let go. Let go, release them. You'll feel amazing, by the way. And if you don't want to donate things to charity, you can sell them and use that money to buy an experience. So sell the things you have and use that money to go on vacation. It's wonderful. It really is, because you have things, and I start to think about things as in terms of the monetary value and what I could be doing with them. So when I look at the cars we have, I'll say to my husband, but I mean, I can tell you how much is sitting there in the garage, especially when we were not going anywhere. So every day I'm like, do we really need so many cars? But he always tells me, please, you keep your life stage. Don't get me involved in the conversation about what we must get rid of. But I think the sense of being content is something we should be chasing every single day. It's something that we should be every day. This is what we should be looking for, is contentment. But yes, I appreciate that this conversation might not land well on someone who's been struggling and has never collected anything. So go through that. If you still need to go through that, go through it, because we all have a different path. We all have a different experience. But what I'm saying is that you do get to a point in your life where it you should be okay with no longer accumulating things, and you should be okay with releasing things, because releasing means it will help somebody else. So I always think of how expensive my closet is, and you might think I don't wear designer things. I do. You just don't see that. I don't wear the ones that will shout and that will tell you what brand it is. I can wear exactly the same brand, but I buy something that won't tell you that it's that brand. So I always think about all the money that's sitting in my closet that I could be using now to take more kids to school, to do more and more and more, and support my causes. So what you're holding on to that you no longer need. Just let it go, guys. Let it go. Sell it if you must, so that you could buy experiences. Buy experiences. Okay, where am I? That is number 14. Number 15, um, learn something new. Learn something new. It builds your self-confidence. I know a lot of people are driven and live from a place of fear. This, let's not say you're learning something so big that somebody is gonna mark you on. So don't be afraid of a red pen that's gonna come from a teacher, or someone is gonna judge you about how well you're doing something. No, don't think about it like that. Just learn something new, just for yourself. With people don't even have to know, because every time you do something you've never done before and you're learning every day and you get better, that progress, something connects with your inner spirit, something connects with your mind, and you have this self-confidence that just keeps growing over time, because you are testing your abilities, you are testing your limits. So learn something new. It can be as simple as crocheting, growing your herbs, growing a little garden, plants. whatever, something that has nothing to do with other people but just yourself. So do that, and it adds to your skill base. So what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. Number 16, walk it out. Walk it out. Walk. Yes, get off the couch and walk. Okay. So many things are wonderful about walking. It is scientifically proven that a 30-minute walk can help you adjust your nervous system. It can help you adjust your nervous system, thus reducing anger and hostility. So it's scientifically proven. It's not because I keep telling you must walk. I've tested it. I know exactly what it does for me. So my walks have become such a sacred space for me, such a critical part of my life. And when I just need to think, when I need to just clear my head, when I just need to, just need to be with myself, I do that. So walk. If something upsets you, get up and walk. Because what you also don't want is to make decisions under under conditions where you're not actually yourself to make those decisions, because that's where regrets live. Regrets live in spaces where you make decisions that you should not have made because your state of mind and your emotional state of mind was not in the right place. Then you end up regretting it, and then now you have to go and fix messes, and then that's just like clumsy. But okay, if you do, you do. That's okay. But walk it out. Walk it out. What I do tend to do is when something is upsetting me in the moment, I won't respond to it. I will just leave it. I'll leave it because I get, when I'm upset, I get the physiological responses get overwhelming. So I shake and I get like, I just cry because I'm not able to express myself. So what I've taught myself is when something is upsetting me and I can feel my body rising, my blood rising, I leave it. I stop. I stop. Then I allow myself the space and time to process it, and then I'll come back. So I'm that person that will come back to you a week later and say, let's talk about what happened. Yeah, and I mean, by then you think, this thing is done, dusted. I'm like, no, I will talk when I'm ready. And that way I feel more empowered and that I'm in control of my emotions. And I can actually articulate myself better and tell you exactly what I feel and how you made me feel. And I will tell it to you in a very calm voice, but you will know exactly what I'm saying to you. Because when you're upset and your voice cracks, your ability to articulate yourself is taken away. So I allow myself the space to just let things settle. I do have very delayed reactions. I really do. I'll react 3 days later or 2 days later or a couple of hours later. I'll be like, "I man, wait a minute." I'll be like, "Wait a minute. That's not right." But it takes me time because I've trained myself to be like that. It doesn't mean it's not painful. It's not that I'm constantly have to thinking, "Oh, I have to control my emotions." No, because it's become second nature to me. It's not painful. I don't lose it. I don't lose it at all. It's not something I do. It's not who I am. So, and I've grown to really, really be careful about how I use my words, because I know for a fact that if I'm upset and I'm angry and I say something, it might land very badly on somebody. It might actually hurt them badly. So because I'm such a frank person, when I say things, I have to say them in the most calm of states, because then, when I say them in an emotionally heightened state, it might hurt. It might hurt a lot because I have demons too. So I have to keep them in check. Number 17, play games. Play games, outdoor games, board games. Guys, I love doing a cartwheel. I love playing outside. I love jumping on my kids and them jumping on me. I love jumping on my husband. When I say kids, I mean jumping on my husband. Play, make play a part of your life. You know that saying that we don't grow old because we don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. I really believe that we grow old because we stop playing. Make play a significant part of your life. However you like to play. Play board games, challenge yourself to do something that is not the norm, that is not your standard, that is not your everyday. The, Again, get off social media every now and then. I promise you, I don't mind if you don't like or comment or post or respond to my posts. If you're on a break, you're on a break, because I do the same. If I'm on a break, if I'm disconnected from it, you're not going to see me posting or commenting or doing anything. So don't feel obligated to comment and respond, which is one of the reasons I also unfollowed my friends on Instagram, because this expectation that I must comment on every single post. I'm like, but I wasn't even online for like days. But because I missed a post, then it's an issue. There's tension. So again, protect what is sacred to you. Protect what's sacred to you. Number 18, be kind to others. And be kind to them for absolutely no reason. For no reason at all. And you must give, because giving, and this is actually another scientific study, says that giving activates the same parts of the brain that are stimulated by food and big people's playtime. Big people's playtime. Yeah. So when you give to others, the feeling you get is similar to big people's playtime and eating your favorite food. So it's a win-win situation, right? It's a win-win situation. And I also think, though, giving to others gets rid of being self-absorbed, because we can be so self-absorbed. We can be so absorbed in our own issues, in our own misery, in our own challenges, that, giving to others just gives you a certain perspective that, in fact, you might be thinking that your life is the worst, but there's somebody who's having it even tougher. Doesn't minimize your suffering, but what it does is, it for a moment, it gives you perspective, and it takes away that excessive need to be so self-absorbed in your life. So, you know, everything I do, I only ever want to make people smile. I really only ever want to make people smile. So sometimes I'll make a fool of myself because I like to laugh at myself. Because I really, really want people to smile. I know how much we deal with as humans. I know how much we have to deal with every day. I know how much we have to heal from. I know how much trauma we deal with. I know how many triggers we have to deal with every day. And if I can, in some shape or form, if I just can make you smile and forget about your misery for just a moment, even if it's just a moment, for me, I feel like that's what I'm here on earth for, is to help people in some shape or form find themselves, find their smile, and know that they can rise from any ashes, and they must know that it's giving up is not an option. So I never want to be the person that pushes another one over the cliff, because people are already on the edge. They're already on the edge. It will take just one thing to push them over. And I never want to be that person. So everything I do is about making people smile. Doesn't mean I'm a pushover. Doesn't mean I'm going to take being bullied. Doesn't mean I actually want negativity. I'll tolerate negativity. I don't, actually. But I care that people are happy. And if I can contribute to that in any small way that I can, I'll do it. I'll do it in a heartbeat. Number 19, watch the company you keep. You've heard me say this before. Watch the company you keep. Choose to be surrounded by happy people. You don't have to feel guilty that you don't want to be around people who drag themselves around. You know, it's one thing to be a good friend. It's another to keep being the dumping ground for people's misery. So know when your line, where your line is, and surround yourself with happy people. Please understand, you cannot fix anyone. You cannot fix anyone. People can only fix themselves. You can love a person all you want. If they don't feel they deserve the love, it's not going to make a difference. So you stay loving as a good friend, but they must seek the help to get themselves to a better place. Because negative energy drains, and you'll constantly be unhappy. You won't find your joy. There'll be no joy in your life because you're constantly inhaling fumes of negativity and misery. And especially those people who act like victims and that everything is getting done to them. The world does this to them. Those people are really draining. I personally cannot, for the life of me, I don't have patience for that. And, and I guess for me, it's so important that I surround myself with people who are happy or who at least know where the limits are, who know what they need to do to get to where they need to. Sometimes the answers are not apparent, but people know that, you know what, I'm struggling with this and I need to work on it. I can do with that. I can be with a person like that. But I can't be the person that wants to tell me how everyone is, has done this to them. I cannot tolerate people with a victim mentality. I cannot tolerate people who blame everyone and everything for their mishaps and never own their lives. That for me is very draining. And I draw a line there. I can't fix anyone. So don't take on other people's issues. And please remove yourself from gossip. Remove yourself from gossip. And if you are the person gossiping, stop it. And just know, if people are gossiping with you, they gossip about you as well. So you're not the special one that they want to share fantastic news with. And when someone says to you, oh my gosh, let me tell you, but you can't tell anyone, they've already told 5 other people. So, just some facts, okay? Number 20, slow down. Number 20, slow down. Am I still here? Oh, yes, sorry. I had lost my view. Um, number 20, slow down. So don't multitask. Please, women. We like to say, oh, I'm a woman, I can multitask. I know. No, our brains are not meant to do that. You know what happens when you're trying to multitask. Something is bound to drop. Something will drop. So don't multitask, please. Focus on what you're doing, because when you're multitasking, you're adding unnecessary stress to yourself because you have 6 things that you have to now worry about all in a minute. And it is ineffective. It is ineffective. You don't get better because you are multitasking. Focus on one thing and do it well, and then do another one. It takes away the stress. It's so stressful to try and do 6 things at the same time. And it's okay to say, actually, you know what, I really just would like to focus on just this one thing for now. Just give me a moment, I'll come back to you. And I think I respect people who do that. Take breaks, guys. Take breaks. Take breaks. And drink water. Drink water. And seek peace. Honestly, slow down. Slow down. Take your breaks. Drink your water. And just chase after peace. And it is possible that it's a life stage thing, but I think you don't have to wait till you're in your 40s to chase peace. You must actually start chasing it at a young age, and make it a habit. Make it a habit, because joy comes from a peaceful mind. Joy comes from a peaceful mind. It comes from a content soul, a soul that doesn't feel like it has to go around chasing everything. Because those things, when you get to a point where you realize that these things that we chase and give up so much for are not actually what makes life. They're not what brings us joy. They may bring us temporary happiness, but not deep-seated, lasting, sustainable joy. So number 21, every win is worth celebrating. So many women do not celebrate their wins. Oh no, this little thing, I don't even know how they selected me. Really? Whoa, is that how we talk to ourselves? And it is unfortunate that we've come from societies that have brought us up to be like that. But guys, we are the adults now. We are the adults now. So we decide what is right and what is wrong. So every win is worth celebrating, because with every win, you have put in the effort. A win doesn't come just like that. A win comes after years of effort, after years of hustling, after years of doing something. So why underplay such achievements in your life? Even if it's a small win, it's nobody's win but yours. Don't worry about who says it's big or it's not big, or it's a small win. A win is a win. So take it. Take it. Number 22, find meaning in your life. You must find meaning in your life. And I really think that, you must find something that's larger than yourself, something to live for that's larger than yourself. It's incredible what happens when you do that, because you're suddenly led from a very different place. You lead yourself from a very different place. So you must seek understanding of what your role is on earth. What is your role on earth? I don't know how joyful people are who are all about, just them, and never do anything for somebody else. Again, that's just my perspective. So I'm yet to come across people who have a deep sense of joy that have no purpose in life or have no meaning, you know. Number 23, get rid of all things that do not bring you peace. Get rid of things that do not bring you peace. You know what doesn't bring you peace. You know who doesn't bring you peace. Uh, Walk away. A troubled soul is not a joyful soul. A troubled soul is not a joyful soul. I could say so much about that particular point, but I think I've done a lot of sessions that will speak to that, because your self-esteem plays a critical role here. Because if you don't, if you have not reconciled your worth, if you do not understand what your worth is, you will tolerate things that don't bring you peace. You will tolerate people who don't bring you peace. So watch the other sessions. Number 24. If you feel overwhelmed, go back to the basics. Just go back to the basics. Because, guys, sometimes we bite way more than what we can chew. And that is okay. That is normal life. It's okay to spit that out and say, actually, let me try again. And when you're feeling overwhelmed, don't think that's the end of the world. Just go back to basics and simplify your life. Just simplify your life. And it's okay to start small. In a world that glorifies so much success and big successes, don't fall for that. Fall for what you can manage. Fall for what you can chew. Fall for what you can chew. Fall for what it is that you know you can handle. Not because other people are doing it. No. You're going to choke on something because you think that's the thing that's meant for you. So please, don't do that. 25, you must compartmentalize. Learn to compartmentalize. A lot of people will have one thing go wrong and then paint their entire life as this big failure. Is that really true? So I think where every time you go through a challenge, every time you go through something, take it and put it in its own compartment. Actually, I'm even going to use this bowl. Put it in a bowl like this. Ne? Take it and put it in there and say, okay, if this thing is staying here, let me deal with it in here, within that context. Not spray everything else as though your life is a failure. And it's easy to think that your life is a failure when things are not going well. But just reflect back. Again, I go back to that sacred time, the time when you can just listen to your heartbeat and understand where you are and why things are upsetting you. If you don't have the ability to compartmentalize, you're going to spray everything negative in your life. I can tell you that I live in compartments. So I live in compartments. In my one compartment, my son is ill and I'm worried and I'm looking after him. In another compartment, I'm a mentor and I've committed to do the session for 2 hours on Sunday and I'm here. Because at least he's sleeping, so I can happily do it. And I'm watching him. Two compartments. Otherwise, if I didn't have the ability to compartmentalize, I would have said to you, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do this session because my son is ill. And of course, if my son was gravely ill and I needed to pay attention to him, you wouldn't see me do this session. Believe me, I care about you, but not that much. But also things like if you're having a disagreement with your partner and suddenly you are mad at everybody, you're mad at the kids, or if you have a problem at work, you bring that home and you now kick the cat, you kick the dog, you kick everyone. That's a person who doesn't know how to compartmentalize, leave things and resolve them where they are. And I'm that person. I can be upset with you now and we resolve an issue now at work, let's say. I resolve an issue now. And the next thing I'm laughing, I'm saying, let's have some champagne and play 30 seconds. Some people are still hung up on the thing I was unhappy about. But I've long passed, I've long passed. So compartmentalize. That's number 20. And number 25 is my last one. And I hope that in some way, I hope so. And I want to say that, in life, every moment offers us choices. Every moment offers us choices. And when we talk about joy, your choices are always, do you choose conflict? Do you choose unhappiness? Do you choose stress? Or do you actually know when to do what, when to choose what? And I say that, being joyful doesn't mean you don't get upset, doesn't mean you don't get angry, doesn't mean you don't have negative emotions. It simply means you know exactly how to handle them and when to choose what and how to handle those emotions that you know are going to steal your joy. So it is the awareness that you should have. It is the awareness that you should have, that you have a choice. In every moment, you have a choice. In every moment, you have a choice. So take a look at your life. Take a look at your life and you will see clearly. You will see clearly what you value. You will see clearly what you value. Your life will give you all the answers. And recognize what brings you joy and go after it. If something doesn't bring you joy, it is your job to make sure that you deal with it. Remember when I started, I said focus on making joy a habit. I live a life where things must fit into my joy, not the other way around. My work must fit into my joy. What I do for others must fit into my joy. My family, it fits into my joy. So recognize what brings you joy and go after that. And your life will give you all the answers you require. Just find that silence. Find that spot when you can hear yourself think and where you can get to understand who you are, where you've come from, and how do those things show up. So make room for light. It's okay to receive light. I know a lot of us who come from a lot of darkness don't believe we deserve light. We don't even actually recognize that we have light in us, that we are light. We are the light we require. So make room for it. It's okay to be joyful. It's okay to be happy. It's okay to seek enlightenment in your life. And you must seek things that are affirming you. Seek things that are affirming you. If things are not affirming you, if they're not giving you peace, get rid of them. Get rid of them. You may say, oh, but Amanda, you say that it's so easy. No, it's easy. You make the decision to get rid of them. The hard part is sticking with that decision. And that's where people fall flat. The hard part is sticking with that decision. But again, if your sense of worth has been degraded and other people's sense of worth has been elevated, it means you're constantly going to be on the receiving end of their abuse, whatever that could be. You stay younger and healthier when you're joyful. So you end up spending less money on things that keep you joyful, that keep you youthful, if you just focus on cultivating joy every day. And I must close by saying that inner work is the basis for it all. You cannot find your joy if you have not found who you are, where you've come from, how the things you've experienced show up in everything you do, and how they influence you, and how they make you feel every single day. So unfortunately you cannot skip that. It makes sense that inner work was my very first mentorship last year, very first session that I did mentorship last year. So because I don't want you to think that you can just put a band-aid on things in your life. No, you have to do the foundation. And if the foundation that you had as a child growing up was fraught with cracks, go and fix that, because you're never going to know what joy is if you have not fixed the foundation that you have. And only you know what your foundation is like. Only you know what needed to be fixed. So I can only wish you all the best. I can only trigger some thoughts. I can only, bring a perspective that you maybe haven't thought about. But ultimately, you still have to do the work. So I think that I'm gonna leave it there because my baby's up now. You okay, baby? All right. In any event, it's perfect timing because I was done. So that was my session for today. I hope that I have helped you in some shape or form. I will read through all your comments when I'm done, when I've sat down. And please bring forth your questions next week. We'll unpack what I've discussed. So I'm gonna log off now. Thank you so much for all your comments. I appreciate it, and please go forth and thrive, and make joy a habit. Seek it every day, because it's the one thing that delivers so much of life. It is what really makes me savor life and savor every single moment. Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate your time, and I'll see you again next week. Thank you.